You're closer to the centre ground politically within the Labour Party, which I think is a good place to be because that's how Tony Blair achieved his remarkable electoral success. And full disclosure, I voted for him on more than one occasion for that very reason. But I wasn't having Jeremy Corbyn very much on the hard left of the party. And I wonder whether that's the issue for the left. It's the extremists at one end who are the authors of cancel culture. And I think, many within Labour feel that the Corbynites themselves are a very toxic force within the party.
Well, I think the hard left is irrelevant, and I hope it stays that way because Labour only wins from the centre ground. But I also want to pick up on some of the other points made, which is about cancel culture. Does it come from the left and so on? I think on the right, views are shut out, but in different ways. And to go, if you like, from the grassroots to the top, think about Boris Johnson. He's, I think, had 2 rounds of cabinet appointments, and he's been quite ruthless in removing anyone who was seen as a bit Remainery. And the criticism of Boris Johnson, he essentially had a cabinet of Brexiteer nodding dogs. So that ideological orthodoxy is at the top of government, even though one has to accept...
Jeremy Corbyn did that with the Labour Party, didn't he? I mean, he filled his shadow cabinet with the hard left and indeed effectively ethnically cleansed the parliamentary party too in their selection process.
That is completely wrong. So first of all, when Jeremy Corbyn was elected, and remember it was my job as a Labour geek to study the minutiae of this, they rang round the parliamentary Labour Party saying, will you serve? And they had some declines. Some people from the centre wouldn't serve in Jeremy Corbyn's shadow cabinet, but some acceptances included people like Pat McFadden, who was shadow minister under Corbyn. And briefly, do you know whose boss Pat McFadden was before Jeremy Corbyn? Some guy called Tony Blair. So that showed actually there was a degree of rapprochement within the Labour Party.
The thing is, I think it's a real straw man that you're holding up there, because all governments have the right to, prime ministers have the right to pick and choose who's in their cabinet. And to me, it makes perfect common sense that you would have people who are more aligned with your way of thinking. I mean, that's because this is the government of the day. This is a cabinet that's been handpicked by Boris Johnson.
To get the job done.
To get the job done, exactly.